They told you forgetfulness was inevitable, that losing your mental edge was just part of getting older. But they were wrong, completely wrong. I'm Dr. Marcus, a cognitive health specialist with over 25 years of experience helping mature adults reclaim their mental clarity and memory. I've worked with thousands of seniors across 5 continents, and what I've discovered might surprise you. Because while most people think expensive supplements or prescription medications are the only answer, the truth is 5 ancient spices could be the key to reviving your cognitive function naturally. These aren't exotic rarities, they're likely sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. These spices don't just add flavor to your meals, they strengthen neural connections, protect brain cells, and help restore the mental sharpness you thought was gone forever. And yes, they work even if you're in your 70s or beyond. In just a moment, I'll reveal exactly which 5 spices they are and how to use them to feel more alert, focused, and confident in your thinking again. So stay with me. This may change how you experience your golden years. Before we dive into these life-changing spices, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss powerful health insights designed just for your senior years. And if you find this helpful, type memory in the comments. If not, type forgot. I read every reply, and I'm here to keep improving for you. Now let's get into the heart of it. The 5 powerful spices that can help restore your memory and revive your cognitive function after 50. These aren't miracle cures, they're nature's quiet helpers, spices that work with your brain, not against it. And the first one on our list might already be in your spice rack. Number 1, turmeric nodoc, the neural protector. There was a time in my practice when I believed only pharmaceuticals could address cognitive decline in aging patients. But the more I listened to my older patients and studied those who maintained sharp minds into their 90s, the more I realized something powerful was hiding in plain sight. Turmeric, not some exotic drug or high-tech solution, but simple, natural turmeric. This vibrant yellow spice may look unassuming, but it holds one of the most effective compounds for aging brains, curcumin. This natural anti-inflammatory works deep within the neural pathways, helping clear the protein buildup that slows down thinking and clouds memory. What makes turmeric especially unique is its ability to cross the blood-brain barrier, that protective shield that prevents many substances from reaching your brain. This means it can deliver its benefits directly where you need them most. As we age, it's not uncommon to struggle with remembering names, misplacing items, or losing your train of thought mid-sentence. But when neural pathways get clogged with inflammation, neither clarity nor recall flows freely. Turmeric helps restore that freedom. For older adults, this spice has been quietly life-changing. Daily intake of turmeric has shown promising results in improving memory recall and processing speed, because curcumin helps protect the hippocampus, your brain's memory center, from oxidative stress and inflammation. But unlike synthetic drugs, turmeric does this gently and without the side effects that often come with prescription medications. I've had patients in their 70s come back to me months after adding a quarter teaspoon of turmeric to their daily routine, surprised at how they could suddenly remember birthdays without reminders or navigate familiar routes without confusion. And every time I smile, because it's not a miracle, it's just good science and good choices. And we're only getting started, because the next spice on this list isn't just a defender of memory, it's a fierce protector of your overall brain health and a quiet guardian of your cognitive well-being. Ready to find out what it is? Let's keep going. Number 2. Sage, the wisdom keeper. If there's one spice that lives up to its reputation, it's sage. For centuries, this herb has been associated with wisdom. The word sage itself means wise one. And modern science is finally catching up to what traditional healers have known for generations. I used to think of sage as just another herb for seasoning poultry. But over time, I began to see it differently. I started listening to my older patients, those who still engaged in complex hobbies, remembered intricate details, and solved problems with ease. And this herb kept showing up in their stories. I dug into the research, and what I discovered changed everything I thought I knew. Sage, it turns out, is one of the most powerful protectors of acetylcholine, a crucial neurotransmitter that declines as we age. When acetylcholine levels drop, so does our ability to form new memories, recall information, and think clearly. But sage steps in as a natural defender. It contains compounds that inhibit acetylcholinesterase, the enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine. By preserving this essential brain chemical, sage helps maintain the connections between neurons that form the basis of memory and thought. In my practice, I've seen remarkable changes in patients who incorporated sage into their daily routines. Not just in memory tests, but in real-life function, the ability to follow complex recipes, manage finances, or engage in meaningful conversations without struggling for words. One retired professor came to me concerned about her increasing difficulty remembering her students' names, something that had never been a problem before. After 2 months of adding fresh sage to her meals and occasionally drinking sage tea, she noticed herself recalling names without effort again. That's not just good for practical reasons, it restored her confidence and sense of identity. Whether it's rubbing dried sage onto roasted vegetables or steeping fresh leaves in hot water for tea, this herb deserves a place in your memory protection plan. Not just for your cognitive function, but for your independence and peace of mind. But what if there was a spice that didn't just protect your brain, but actually energized it from within? A spice that boosts circulation to your brain, mental energy, and helps your mind feel like it remembers how to think clearly again. That's exactly what we'll uncover next. Number 3. Cinnamon, the brain energizer. There's something about cinnamon that feels like comfort and warmth. Maybe it's the sweet aroma that conjures memories of holiday gatherings or weekend breakfasts. But beyond its familiar scent lies a hidden strength that most people over 50 don't realize. Cinnamon is one of the most powerful spices for rekindling mental energy and restoring blood flow to the brain. I remember one older woman, a retired librarian, who came to me frustrated. She wasn't reading anymore. The books that had been her lifelong passion now felt too difficult to follow. Characters and plots would blur together, and she'd find herself rereading the same page repeatedly. She was heartbroken at losing this connection to her favorite pastime. That's when we introduced cinnamon into her daily routine. Just a half teaspoon stirred into her morning coffee or oatmeal. Within weeks, she was back in my office with a stack of books she'd finished and could discuss in detail. Something had shifted. Cinnamon is rich in antioxidants that help reduce neurological inflammation, but what really sets it apart is its impact on blood sugar regulation and brain blood flow. It helps stabilize glucose levels, which prevents the energy crashes that can leave your brain feeling foggy and sluggish. But more importantly, cinnamon improves circulation throughout your body, including to your brain. That means more oxygen, more nutrients, and more energy reaching the cells that need it most. Studies have found that simply smelling cinnamon can improve performance on cognitive tasks, and when consumed regularly, it helps protect against the accumulation of tau, protein tangles in the brain that are associated with cognitive decline. What I love most about cinnamon is how approachable it is. It's not a supplement, it's not a pill. It's a spice you can sprinkle on your morning toast, stir into your coffee, or add to your favorite recipes. It gently restores mental energy and clarity without fanfare, just steady, natural results. So if you're looking for mental spark, not just in your cognitive tests, but in your daily life, cinnamon is your quiet ally. It doesn't promise miracle cures, but it often delivers something more lasting: sustainable brain energy and the joy of thinking clearly again. And just when you think spices can't offer more than that, wait until you hear about the one that supports both your memory and mood, while helping you concentrate better, solve problems more easily, and engage more deeply with the world around you. Let's talk about rosemary. Number 4. Rosemary, the memory keeper. There's something deeply grounding about the scent of rosemary. The sharp, pine-like fragrance that seems to clear the air and the mind simultaneously. Ancient Greek scholars wore rosemary garlands during examinations to boost their memory. And as it turns out, they were onto something profound. Years ago, I worked with a retired engineer in his late 60s who had been designing intricate woodworking projects all his life. Recently, though, he found himself forgetting measurements, losing track of his designs, and making costly mistakes. His workshop, once a haven of creativity and precision, had become a source of frustration. I recommended rosemary, both as a tea and as an essential oil to diffuse in his workshop based on research I'd seen about its incredible effects on memory, concentration, and mental clarity. He was skeptical but willing to try. 3 months later, he invited me to see his latest creation, a beautifully intricate chess table with perfectly fitted joints and inlaid patterns. His focus had returned, and with it, his passion. Rosemary contains compounds called carnosic acid and rosmarinic acid, which have been shown to prevent the breakdown of acetylcholine, that crucial brain chemical we discussed earlier. But it goes further. Rosemary appears to increase blood flow specifically to the head and brain, delivering oxygen-rich blood to the areas responsible for memory and cognition. The effects can be almost immediate. In one study, simply being in a room with rosemary's aroma improved memory test scores significantly. But the real benefits come with regular exposure and consumption. For people struggling with age-related memory changes, rosemary provides support in multiple ways. It enhances the brain's ability to form and retain memories, improves concentration during complex tasks, and even lifts mood. Another factor that profoundly impacts cognitive function. One of the most beautiful things about rosemary is how versatile it is. You can cook with the fresh or dried herb, drink it as a tea, or use the essential oil in a diffuser. Each approach offers benefits, and combining them creates a supportive environment for your brain to thrive. I've seen rosemary change lives not by fixing everything overnight, but by giving people back the confidence to trust their minds again. It reminds your brain what it's capable of, and sometimes that reminder is all you need to feel like yourself again. Now that we've explored 4 powerful memory-boosting spices, there's one more that deserves special attention. A spice that works not just on your cognitive function, but on your overall brain health in a way that supports long-term clarity and protection. Let's discover the final spice in our memory-boosting collection. Number 5. Black pepper, the neural amplifier. This might surprise you. The humble black pepper, probably the most common spice in your kitchen, might be the unsung hero of brain health after 50. We usually think of black pepper as just a flavor enhancer, something we mindlessly grind over our food. But this unassuming spice contains a compound called piperine that makes it a powerful ally for your aging brain. I recall working with a couple in their mid-70s who were determined to maintain their independence and continue traveling the world together. But the husband had begun struggling with directions, often getting confused in new places, which made both of them anxious about continuing their adventures. When I explained the potential benefits of black pepper for spatial memory and cognitive function, they were intrigued but doubtful. Could something so common really make a difference? They committed to using freshly ground black pepper liberally in their cooking every day. 6 months later, they sent me a postcard from Portugal, noting with delight that they'd navigated the winding streets of Lisbon without a single wrong turn. Black pepper's secret lies in its ability to do 2 critical things. First, piperine itself has neuroprotective properties that help shield your brain cells from damage. Second, and this is where it gets really interesting, black pepper dramatically increases the bioavailability of other nutrients. This means that when you combine black pepper with turmeric, for example, you increase the absorption of curcumin by up to 2,000%. It's like having an amplifier for the other memory-boosting spices in your diet. Beyond this, black pepper stimulates digestive enzymes and improves nutrient absorption overall, ensuring your brain gets more of what it needs from all the healthy foods you eat. But there's more. Research suggests that piperine may actually stimulate the production of new neurons in certain parts of the brain, a process called neurogenesis that was once thought impossible in older adults. For people concerned about memory loss, black pepper provides an easy daily intervention. Just switching from pre-ground to freshly ground pepper and being more generous with its use can make a noticeable difference over time. I've seen black pepper transform cognitive health not through dramatic overnight changes, but through its consistent, cumulative effects that build up over weeks and months, supporting sharper thinking, better recall, and more mental clarity. Now that you've learned about these 5 powerful spices, you might be wondering, how do I start? How do I make this real in my life, without turning it into another complicated health routine? Well, that's the exciting part. Because what comes next will show you exactly how to bring these spices into your daily rhythm in a way that's simple, sustainable, and actually enjoyable. Here's how to start today, putting it all together. If you're still with me, it means something inside you is ready for change. Maybe you've been feeling frustrated with your memory, less sharp, or simply tired of hearing that this is just part of getting older. But it's not. Not entirely, because the truth is, your brain still wants to function optimally. It still wants to heal and adapt. And with the right nourishment, it absolutely can. That's why I love this approach. We're not talking about expensive supplements, restrictive diets, or complicated regimens. We're talking about spices, real, whole, natural spices that your body recognizes and responds to in ways that are subtle at first and powerful over time. Start small. In fact, I'd encourage you to choose just one of the 5 spices we've talked about, whichever one speaks to you most. Maybe it's adding a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric to your scrambled eggs. Maybe it's steeping fresh sage leaves in hot water for an afternoon tea. Maybe it's sprinkling cinnamon on your morning oatmeal, adding rosemary to your roasted potatoes, or being more generous with freshly ground black pepper. There's no wrong way to begin, and there's no pressure to do everything all at once. What matters is consistency. Give your brain a steady daily signal that you are choosing clarity, choosing memory, choosing cognitive health. Over the next few weeks, you may start to notice little things, remembering where you put your keys without searching, recalling a name that would have escaped you before, finding the right word in conversation without that frustrating tip of the tongue feeling. These are the signs. These are the whispers of your brain saying, I'm still capable. And here's something else I've learned from decades of working with seniors around the world. It's never too late. I've seen people in their 80s make remarkable cognitive improvements, not because they found some miracle cure, but because they consistently gave their brains what they needed to function at their best. So today, I invite you to look in your spice rack differently. See these spices not just as flavor enhancers, but as brain enhancers, healing gifts, and steps forward. Let this be the day you begin, not because someone told you to, but because you deserve to think clearly again, to remember easily, and to feel more mentally alive than you thought possible. You've learned what to do, you've seen what's possible. Now the next step is yours, and I'll be right here cheering you on every step of the way. Final thoughts. Sometimes we reach a point in life where we quietly begin to accept less. Less mental clarity, less confidence in our thinking, less engagement with complex ideas. Not because we want to, but because it feels like that's just how things are supposed to be as we get older. But I want to tell you, from one human being to another, that this idea is simply not true. Your brain is not finished. You are not too old, and your cognitive function has not reached its peak. What we've talked about here may seem simple, just 5 everyday spices, but what they represent is something far greater. They are a daily invitation to remind your brain of what it's capable of. To help you restore not just memory, but confidence, not just thinking, but the joy of thinking clearly. Think about everything your brain has learned throughout your life. The decades of accumulated wisdom, the problems solved, the skills mastered, the knowledge gained. Your mind has carried you through every experience, every challenge, every triumph and loss. And now, when you finally have the time to enjoy the richness of your accumulated wisdom, you deserve to feel mentally sharp, not limited. These 5 spices, turmeric, sage, cinnamon, rosemary, and black pepper, are not miracle cures, but they are a quiet revolution. They work not with force, but with nourishment, not with dramatic intervention, but with gentle, consistent support. What I hope you take away from this is not just a shopping list for the spice aisle. I hope you take away the belief that it's not too late to improve how you think, to remember clearly, to engage with the world with confidence and clarity. The truth is, age doesn't take everything from us. It gives us something too. It gives us perspective, wisdom, and the deep understanding that comes only with time. And when your brain is nourished and supported, you can access and share that wisdom more freely. So if all you do tomorrow is add a pinch of turmeric to your soup or sprinkle some cinnamon in your coffee, know this. You are making a choice. A choice to live with intention, a choice to care for your brain, not because it's failing, but because it still has so much to give. This is not the end of your cognitive story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. A path of renewed clarity, restored memory, and maybe even a rediscovery of mental capabilities you thought were behind you. You've spent a lifetime learning and growing. Now it's time to protect that precious knowledge and continue to build on it, because you deserve to think clearly again. You deserve confidence, You deserve to trust your own mind. And the best part, that journey doesn't begin with a prescription. It begins with a pinch of spice and a decision to believe that your best thinking might still be ahead. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with memory. If not, feel free to comment with forgot. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to keeping your mind sharp at any age.